Hello and welcome to Girls with Goals. I'm Niamh Maher. We have a fantastic show for you today. A little bit later on, we're going to be talking about ditching the razors and hashtag January. But first, let me introduce you to our incredible guest this week, our Her editor. No, you're not.
Nope.
You're not our editor.
That's going to piss some people off.
Yeah. Our Her beauty editor, I'm actually just going to keep going because it's kind of funny, is Rebecca O'Keefe. Welcome.
Thank you.
So nice to have you back. And also beauty blogger and social media superstar extraordinaire, Jen Morris is here. Or Too Dolly Makeup, as you're known as well.
Yeah, you can call me Jen, though.
Okay, so Too Dolly.
First name Too, last name Dolly.
Yeah.
Imagine.
So Dolly, no, Jen, you're very welcome. We're going to start the way we start every show, and that's with our game. So it's for any of our readers of Her.ie and our listeners or viewers of the show who may not know who you are. So you have to describe yourself in 6 words or less, so in your own time.
No pressure.
No pressure.
This has been since I got the email about this. I've been thinking about it, writing down little notes, I swear. So I had to get my housemate in on it. So balanced.
Okay, nice.
Inquisitive. Kind. Beauty content creator.
Nice.
Yeah, it just wrapped it up nice,
Done.
you know.
That was lovely. I love how you, before we were filming, you said as well that you went back and listened to a few of the other 6 words or less, and you remembered not to say
loyal.
not to say the word loyal.
Oh, God.
Let's just take it that everybody is loyal.
Everyone is loyal.
Every single person is
Although
loyal.
some people aren't.
But everyone is loyal until they're not.
Everyone seems to think they're loyal.
This is the- yeah.
That's the kicker. Everybody says that they're loyal. Thanks to Love Island.
Thank you. Yes.
That was the absolute worst. And they were great. I love that. I love balanced. Why do you say balanced? It's an interesting word to describe yourself.
I'm quite horizontal, as my housemate would describe me.
Okay.
I don't really let things get to me too much.
Yeah.
Sometimes I will be stressed, as anyone is really, but I'm quite level-headed
Okay.
all the time, and I'm very focused. So if there's a task at hand, it doesn't matter what's going to get in my way. I'm very balanced. I don't let anything kind of shake me from it.
That's nice. That's a
Oh,
really
that must
good.
be very pleasant.
Yeah. I was just thinking about myself throughout that whole thing and thinking about how that's not, I wouldn't consider myself balanced at all, actually.
My
Which
mom is like the most chill person ever. Like
Yeah.
nothing shakes her.
Yeah.
Nothing. So I think I get it from her.
Okay.
So she just takes anything has a silver lining. Every single thing has a silver lining. Even the worst days or things when things go bad, it always has silver lining. So I think I get it from my mother. So
What a nice way to live life.
Absolutely, yeah. And also pretty crucial, I would say, given the job that you do. So let's talk a little bit about your career. So you are a beauty blogger. You have over 27,000 followers on Instagram. Am I right in that? So tell me first, like, let's go back a little bit. Where did your kind of love of makeup and beauty start?
I was always really into it.
Okay.
Always. Like my whole life. When I was about 7, my mom got me a teacher's chalkboard, you know, like the ones you hang up. And I crushed off the chalks and made eyeshadow.
Stop.
I was rocking like pastel blue.
That's real Cleopatra throwback.
yeah.
That's how like first makeup was made.
Using berries and
Yeah.
stuff, yeah.
Berries foraging for the makeup. But I still actually have, like, I had basically, my aunt got me this little trinket box and it's still stained on the inside because it was like a, it's not clay. What are little trinket boxes made out of?
Charcoal. Or no, sorry. No, I'm thinking of the chalk.
Metal?
Ceramic kind of thing.
Ceramic-y, stony type situation.
I was off.
But the inside of it is still completely stained from me mixing my cosmetics.
Wow, I love that your mom got you like a chalkboard and chalk as in maybe she's going to be a teacher, maybe she wants to go into academics.
Nah, I'm going to crush this bitch up.
Yeah.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
I suppose I became a teacher of sorts.
Yes,
but,
this is true. Absolutely.
yeah, no, I was obsessed with it. And then as we were talking earlier on, I used to do dancing.
Yeah.
And I had my show every year. And like my favourite time of the year was my mom would perch me up on our like green bathroom set.
Yeah.
And do me up in Elizabeth Arden.
And you loved it.
I loved it.
It was always Elizabeth Arden for
Oh
me as
God,
well.
yeah. Toasty beige to here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry. That was it.
It didn't matter what colour you
That
were
should have been
from here down.
your Instagram handle.
Yeah.
Toasty beige.
I feel like that might give people the wrong idea.
true.
It's funny how when I've spoken to like a few kind of makeup artists and beauty bloggers, through the show, and a lot of them do say that they were always really, really obsessed, obviously, with it growing up, because it's a passion. It has to be something that you're obsessed with, I think. But at the same time, like, I look at people now and their obsession starts from such a young age, but they're also way better at what they're doing now than I was when I was 15 or 16. Now, I didn't have a passion. I only did it because all my friends were doing it. So I was like proper roller glitter on the eyelids, roller glitter on the cheeks, put a bit of roller glitter on the lips. Like, basically my makeup routine was roller glitter. Yeah, and it just went all over. So, and Elizabeth Arden, we didn't have these
access.
or maybe we didn't have YouTube. We didn't have tutorials like that, you know?
Well, I think if you think about it, really, we all have the wealth of the universe in our pocket.
Yeah.
So for people that are really passionate about makeup now, when I got really into it when I was about 13, 14, like, I got really, really into makeup, and my mom got me Kevin O'Quan's book.
Okay.
And that was my reference point.
Yeah.
And all those pictures were taken in like the late 80s, early 90s, because he had passed away in the 90s. So, I mean, that was my reference point. YouTube didn't come along till I was like 15, 16.
Yeah, and a lot of it was just watching our mothers put makeup on, because that's what I used to do. I used to run in and like steal my mom's powder and like put a bit of powder on my face, and then I thought I was wearing makeup.
Oh, stop.
Literally didn't even put anything, like, I was just, that was it, just a little bit of powder and the roller glitter, of course.
Never forget.
Never forget.
My mom had this, like, I still to this day, we actually found it the other day, and I always remember it. She used to wear this lipstick by like Oriflame, I think it was. It was like Avon kind of type situation, and it was had a gold bottom and like a scalloped white all around it, and it was like a deep berry colour, and I always remember it.
Yeah.
And we found it the other day, and it was mad because I knew Mum was hitting the town when like that came out. I was like, she's going out.
The lippy's out.
The only thing that I knew about Avon when I was growing up was that it was in all of the American movies, the Avon lady. And I didn't know that that was a woman who would come to your door and sell you makeup.
Yeah.
And I didn't know. That still happens, I think.
Yeah.
A lot. There's a number of brands that do it now. I've been like approached on the street, being like, "Do you want to buy a set?" I'm like, "No."
The new one is like unique, I think.
Nice. Avon lady. I just loved that. I had no idea. She could have been selling kitchens for all I knew.
I was a door-to-door Sky lady for a while.
So was I.
So
randomly. I think it was a scam. I don't think it was a real job.
Did you make money?
yeah,
No.
I did.
One says yes, one says no.
Now, let it just be known, I am a terrible salesperson.
Oh, I'm not.
I'm a terrible
good
salesperson. Like, I literally just would go to the door and say, "Do you want to buy some Sky?" And in
Sky, if
that,
you're watching.
voice. And they would say no, and I would say, "You have a pleasant evening," and I would just depart, because I don't feel like I should ever force anything on somebody.
No.
Exactly why I'm a terrible salesperson.
I'm such a good salesperson.
Really?
But I'm not forceful, I'm like real, you know? But I was very much the person that was like, "Go on, stick on the kettle there, I'll pop in and I'll just show you what we have to offer."
Lovely.
Make sure you're in the house.
That's lovely. I just wanted to get out of there. I wanted to be at home. I just didn't want to be grown up. Anyway, we digress. So let's talk then about when you moved it on to kind of creating your YouTube channel, and when you decided that you wanted to maybe start doing tutorials, because I watched one of your videos recently where you looked back on your first tutorial that you had done. You look completely different as well. So when did you start making videos and kind of dipping your toe?
I would say it was when I went to college. So I was like 2009. So I was 18. I started a blog when I was around 16. It was called Makeup Madness.
Oh,
Yes,
nice.
funny.
Oh, so you didn't start it as Too Dolly?
No, did not start it as Too Dolly. Too Dolly came from the first. I'd saved up the first kind of expensive, good makeup that I ever bought was a eyeshadow palette from MAC. It was from the Hello Kitty collection.
Oh, right. Okay.
And one of the shades in it was called Too Dolly, which was like, I love green, and it was the green shade, so then I just ran with it.
Nice.
And changed everything to Too Dolly. I thought it was the best thing ever. 27 now, I'm not so sure about it, but it served me well.
It's become synonymous with you, though. You can't really change it now.
No, I can't, unless it's something really good.
Yeah.
We'll see.
We'll see.
But yeah, I had started a blog, and then I'd never really come across well in writing. Even in school, I'd never, I could never get my point across on the paper. So one of my friends, Karina, one of my best friends, she actually said to me, like, there's these YouTubers and like they're doing videos, and at this point it wasn't really something that you could make a career out of.
Right.
But there was people like Lauren Luke, Panacea81 her name was, and she was massive, and Candy Johnson, and like there was these big American YouTubers that were just doing it part-time. Everyone was just doing it part-time.
Yeah.
And then Candy Johnson was the first person that was like, I'm now doing this as my career. And that was just like mad. I thought that was mental. So that's when I kind of started to teach myself how to create video and things like that. And like, obviously I don't think I've been super consistent in the last 8 years doing it, but it was probably in the last like 3 years, that's when everything kicked into like a high drive.
Yeah.
I entered this competition with Rimmel, and it was to create the London look, and I actually ended up winning it internationally.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
It was, I couldn't get over it.
What was the look? What did you do?
So it was really basic. I was unemployed at the time. I'd gotten the dream job that I just...
Never ends up being the dream,
oh my God, the
does it?
dream job. And I couldn't believe it. And then 4 months in, I was like, oh my God, what do I do?
I hate
I hate
this.
this so much. And I actually got let go from the job, and it was just a nightmare. Like anyone that I know that has worked in the place, or, you know, we kind of come across each other in the industry now, we all kind of say, "Whew, God, we got out of there.
Wow.
But I was unemployed. I was living in a home in Clonmel, and there was this competition. You just had to create a 1 minute video using Rimmel products. So I hot-footed it down to Boots with my dole money. And I bought as much Rimmel stuff as I could. And I just created a really simple look. I did winged liner because I could always do winged liner. It was always my thing, because I literally sat down one day and I was like, I'm not getting up. I bought a little eyeliner pot, and I was like, I'm not getting up until I can do this. So it was always something I could do.
Some severe dedication.
Oh,
I just don't wear eyeliner because I can't do it.
I can do like winged liner. For me is just quick.
Probably do it like in your sleep.
It's just something, literally, I remember being so determined, and I bought a Stila smudge pot and the thickest brush ever, and I think that's why I'm good at it now, because the brush I learned with was massive.
Right, okay.
So I don't know how I managed to like finesse that. But I just did a really quick look and I uploaded it, and then all of a sudden the entirety of Ireland started to get behind me. Like all the big, like the super bloggers, so like Pippa, like Marissa Carter was sharing it and saying like, this Irish girl is like really out in front. I ended up winning the international vote by like 8,000 votes.
Wow.
Which was mad. I didn't actually win the competition, which was to meet Rita Ora, but I got a year's supply.
I mean,
I know, she was big at the time.
To be fair, like, you're grand, you know?
Yeah.
Was that the prize? Like, not a big dirty check?
No, the prize was,
Meet
not
Rita
a big
Ora.
dirty check, but it was go over to London, meet Rita Ora. Like, it was like a big thing. It was a big thing.
I mean, it would be. I'd like to meet Rita Ora in like Asda. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But it was like you spent time with her and you filmed
Got
with
it.
her as well.
Oh, right, okay. And she was the big face behind the campaign
was
at the
huge
time.
at the
She
time.
still is, I think.
Yeah, but she was like proper.
Yeah,
like,
it was in the
Kate
middle
Moss
of...
used to be. If it was Kate Moss, I'd be like, okay, wow, I'd love to have a cup of tea with her.
A cup of tea is what you're having with Kate Moss.
Yeah, I think so.
A stiff
But
drink.
like a stiff drink, I'd say so. But like in the process so I think the competition was about 3 weeks long.
Yeah.
I ended up getting like 10,000 followers on Snapchat.
Wow. So it just became like this kind of huge thing that
Everyone
really
was like,
helped.
who's this girl? Like, why is she getting so much recognition? And like Snapchat was really popping off at the time.
Yeah.
Everyone was on Snapchat. Everyone was spending hours on Snapchat at night time. So people were constantly looking for new people to follow. So I suppose I was smart enough to keep diverting people over to my Instagram.
Yeah.
And like I built my first kind of 10,000 on Instagram so fast.
Yeah.
Just
because of
I
that
kept
crossover, yeah.
The crossover. I was just like, this is a moment. This is that like viral moment.
Yeah.
And I was like, I need to maximise on this as much as I can. So I just kept getting people across.
I think people could tell, even the people who were really big on Snapchat could tell that people were using Instagram more in terms of like actual longer use, you know, like
engaging with it
yeah,
rather than just clicking through.
Exactly, engaging with it more so.
Yeah.
So that was smart to do that.
But yeah, so it was a mad experience. And out of that then I got a year's supply of Rimmel products, which was like, at the time, it was the most makeup I'd ever seen in my life.
So what is a year's supply?
I was literally just going to ask that.
I always hear about this and like, what does it look like? Does it come in packages?
It comes in a huge box, as in like my mother rocked up to me and she was like, what is this? Because
See,
it was
I
so
thought
heavy.
they would continually
month.
refill you
Yeah.
for like a
So
a
you got
year.
every lipstick, every eyeliner, lip pencil, eyeshadow palette, every single colour product that they had, you got.
Amazing.
And then you got like 15, 16 foundations. So
Yeah.
they send you like 3 of these ones, 4 of these ones, whatever.
That would last me about 5 years.
Oh,
if I
it's
Yeah.
did
yeah.
But it having that and winning that prize, it actually, like obviously I was on the dole at the time. It gave me stuff that I could create content with and do videos with, and I had new things all the time, and like that whole experience opened such a door for me. It was mad.
Yeah. I'd say it gave you confidence as well because, I mean, looking at it from the outside in, it's, I'd say, kind of an intimidating realm in terms of like, I mean, I see makeup artists now and bloggers and YouTubers and, you know, they obviously just know their stuff so much, but obviously you know your stuff as well. But entering into it originally, were you nervous or were you apprehensive or did you feel like you didn't belong?
I don't think I got a chance to be nervous.
Okay.
Because I entered it because I was like, why not? Like, might as well.
I like makeup.
I like
I'm-
makeup,
yeah.
and I'm sitting at home. I'm actually so bored because I couldn't get a job, and
Yeah.
I was so stressed out. Like I was going through a really tough time. You know, that kind of, what am I doing with my life?
Yeah.
And
Existential crisis or
Oh,
whatever it's called.
absolutely.
Everybody
Yeah.
has it.
Russell
yeah.
Kane talks about this thing. He calls it a kitchen floor reset.
Okay.
And basically says that at least one point in your life, you'll be like on your mom's kitchen floor, being like, what am I going to do?
I've 100% been there. Why is
I
it the
haven't
kitchen
got there
floor?
yet. That's terrifying.
It is.
Kitchen floor reset.
Because you're like lying on the floor being like, help me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
help me.
Pretty much, yeah.
But yeah, like a lot changed in that year, so I just thought it was so exciting. And then I remember getting invited to my first event, and I was like, what? Like, why am I being invited to this? And then it just grew from there, and I just really kept working at it.
Yeah.
And I never, to be honest, I never really saw it becoming something that I'd be doing full time like I am now. And like I'm really grateful for that because it's literally a dream. Like
Yeah.
I get to create and play with makeup, and yes, there's obviously not nice things to it, and it's stressful sometimes, and sometimes you get abuse and like admin, but everyone does
Yeah.
admin. But like I get to do what my 7-year-old self wanted to do
Yeah.
full time.
That's
How
pretty
cool is
epic, isn't
that?
it? Yeah.
Yeah.
When you wake up in the morning, whenever I say that, Saved by the Bell runs through my head. Like constantly.
Don't know the words. But
So
yeah.
when you wake up in the morning and shut up, lads, come on, I have to finish it. It's in my head.
I know. Okay.
What's your routine? So I think sometimes when people are kind of independent and working for themselves like that, especially in your kind of industry, like do you have a very set routine of you do? So as in, if you know that you have to film 3 looks in one day, will you be rigid with your time? Because if I was at home, like I would lie in, I would kind of piss around the kitchen for a while, I would maybe go for coffee. I just don't know if I have that ultimate discipline that you have to have in order to kind of work for yourself.
No, you have to be so disciplined.
Yeah.
And I got some really good advice from Emma Manley.
Oh yeah, I
The
love her.
very first week I went to this event, and we were just chatting, and I was like, oh, I'm gone full time now. And like I'd met her at one of my first ever events with Urban Decay, and I was just, she's so nice, and
She's lovely.
just
She's
lovely.
been on the show a couple of times. I'm a big fan.
And she asked me, she's like, are you getting dressed every day? And I was like, yeah. And she goes, you have to get dressed every day. Every day. So since then, like I've taken it upon myself now to get up, have a shower, get dressed every day as if I was leaving, even if I'm not going to leave the house.
That's
a really good
great
idea.
advice.
So, because I did feel, because the first week what I did is, again, I got let go from a job, and I just had that real kind of, now is the moment, because it was always like, oh, I'd love to try go full time, but maybe after Christmas,
yeah.
or maybe after my birthday.
There was always something.
it
But
on
now
the long
it's
finger.
summer, and I don't want to be trying that in summer. But I got let go from a job just due to budgeting, and I was like, this is it. This is the moment now. I'm 27. I was like, if I wait another couple of years, like I'll be wanting to save for probably a house or
Yeah.
somewhere to live or making a big decision in my life. I was like, now is the time that I can try it, and if it all goes belly up, it's actually grand. Like
Yeah.
it's fine. So I just kind of went for it, and I said, oh, I'm going to give myself a week off after finishing my job. And I just kind of lazed around. I was like in my pajamas, and I remember turning to my housemate and just being like, I feel like crap.
You do,
I
though. You
I
feel real
like
sluggish
crap.
and stuff.
Yeah.
And she was like, well, you haven't left the house in 3 days. And I was like,
Fair
I
point.
know, fair.
Well made.
I was like, I feel very attacked right now. But ever since then, meeting Emma at that event, and she's saying to me, you have to get dressed. Like, just get dressed every day.
Yeah.
Because it's so easy for me, I suppose. I'm only filming from here up.
You could have
Like,
your
I could have my
bottoms
pajamas on, like, you know.
I do think as well, like when you've, you know, been going to work for so often and that's like your routine to get up and out of the house by 7:30 every day. Like the moment I get back into my apartment, I'm full head to toe pajamas. Like I literally like the bra's off before I even get to the bedroom, do you know? So like when I'm in my house, pajamas is paramount.
Yeah.
And I don't even understand, like on weekends and stuff, I'm like, if I'm not going out, why would I
put jeans on?
Why would I put jeans on? Like they're uncomfortable. But that makes so much sense because if you don't have that discipline, I would imagine that it can be hard to just get motivation as well.
I
Like.
have to like try, because obviously I don't have a studio. Like everything I do is from my room. But I kind of read and listened to a lot of podcasts. I'm really like, I listen to a lot of podcasts. But I listen to a lot of podcasts about being self-employed and things like that as well. And one of the top tips as well is they said, don't ever work from your bed.
Yes.
Don't work from your bed, because then you associate your bed with work.
And you can't relax.
And you can't relax, you can't go to sleep. So now I will film in my room and I'll put away the lights and everything like that. Well, like I push them to the side. I don't put them away. It takes ages to set them up. But I'll push them to the side, make sure everything is away. And if I need to edit, I'll go out to the sitting room.
Yeah.
And I'll go and edit in the sitting room. I'll go edit at the kitchen table. I won't edit in my bed.
Yeah.
Like obviously I have done but 9 times out of 10 I try to not, because I have noticed that like I'll be lying in my bed and I'll be like, oh my God, I could just open it and fix that, or oh, that little transition, or this, that,
Because
and
there's
the other.
always something to do.
Always something,
and you have to make that differentiation between actually opening and closing the laptop and like separating it, especially when your home is your work as well. I think one of the great things about your Instagram and kind of you in general is you're very open and you're very honest about with your followers. Like you talk a lot about, you know, the fact that you've had lip fillers, and you talk about that in terms of the beauty industry and how obviously a lot of people are getting it, and it's saved as a highlight if anybody wants to go and check out.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. So and why did you feel the need to kind of tell people about that? Did you do it because people might notice, or did you do it because it was just very natural for you to just be like, I'm getting fillers now, I want to kind of take you on the journey with me, I guess?
I just thought it was really a natural, normal kind of thing that people do now. And
oh, it definitely is normal that people do it now. People still don't really, I don't think that they talk about it as much still. I think people are still
Swept
kind
under
of
the rug.
Well, they don't. I think some people want people to think that their lips are naturally like that.
Overnight.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, I shared it from the very start anyway. I follow this UK blogger called Twee, and her Instagram and YouTube is Tweely. She's actually incredible. She's amazing. And she has gotten serious surgery. Like, she's Vietnamese. Her parents are Vietnamese, but she's from London, and she's had like eyelid surgery, her nose done, her chin. She's had like a BBL, and she shared it all. Now
What's
that's
a BBL?
like Brazilian butt lift. They basically take the fat from your stomach and put it in your ass.
I know what that is. Sorry, I didn't know it had an abbreviation.
She couldn't sit down for 8 weeks.
You lie on your front.
You lie on your front and you stand.
Oh my God, that's my
no way to
nightmare.
live.
I just
For 8
love
weeks.
sitting.
For 8 weeks. But I just...
Does it look sick though, does it?
She looks amazing.
Yeah.
She looks incredible.
Like herself.
Yeah.
Before, like just an
Like she does
enhanced
an
version of
enhanced
herself.
version of herself. Like I think she's
2.0.
quite smart, and she goes to really good doctors. Like when she went and got her eyelid surgery, she went to, I think it was Vietnam, or she went, not Vietnam, where did she go? I can't remember, Malaysia. Because she was like, I want to go to a surgeon that can deal with Asian features.
Yeah.
So she's
What
like,
did she do to her eyelids?
Well, the eyelid surgery is they
It's a
to
lift.
give you a double lid. No, so basically what they do is, you know, Asian people, some Asian people have a monolid, so it's just a lid. And
so
it's
there's
down.
no crease.
So they take this bit here and they manufacture a crease.
Yeah.
So to make your eyes more wide. So your eyes will still look an Asian shape, like that almond kind of shape.
Yeah.
But you'll have a lid. You'll have like a mobile lid.
Yes.
So it's something that's really common, especially in like Korea
Oh,
and
it's
stuff
completely
like that.
it's almost, I would say it's up there with lip fillers now.
Because I've heard
in
of
Europe.
obviously like an eye lift, and I know about that one, but I didn't
No,
know.
eyelid surgery, yeah. So it's the monolid, and I mean, I've seen kind of before and afters. I think it's so slight that I'm just like, oh my god, I wouldn't even really necessarily notice. But obviously, it's something that's very important to her.
But she was so candid about it, and she was very much like, I'm doing this for me, I'm not doing it for anyone else.
Yeah.
And she just wanted to give people the information if they were interested in getting any procedures or anything like that. Because even she talks like a lot about her boyfriend is not into it.
Right.
Doesn't like the surgeries, doesn't want to get any more surgeries, anything like that. But she's like, if I want to get surgeries, I'm going to get surgeries.
Yeah.
But obviously I think she knows like when not to take it too far. But I just think when I was getting lip fillers, I was like, people are going to notice. My lips were really small, and also I have a scar here. I don't know if you see my scar.
Oh yeah.
My brother hit me with like a rifle.
Let me see.
when I was
Is
a child.
With a what?
Slight.
A rifle. Well, a toy rifle.
Pretend.
Pistol
It was
whipped
like a
you at
pipe.
age 5.
But like I split my lip. But actually, it's mad. The filler makes you produce collagen. The hyaluronic acid makes you produce collagen. So the scar is actually going away.
Oh no way.
Interesting.
Bananas. But I just was like, people are going to notice. Like, I'm not just going to be like, oh, lads, I just, got a new lip plumper. And even nowadays, like, obviously I was very open from the start, but when someone new follows me, it's one of the questions I get a lot is, oh, hi, like, do you have lip fillers or, whatever? And I'm like, check out my highlight, and it's all there, and I have 2 YouTube videos, and I don't know, it's just something people are really curious about, and they think it's this, like, horrific thing, whereas, like, it's actually grand. It's in and out, like...
Is it sore?
It's stingy.
Yeah.
See, the thing is, you put numbing on before you go in, and then the actual Restylane has numbing in it. So the more you get, the number you get.
Yeah.
But I made sure that I went to like a really reputable place. Like all the doctors in therapy, there's kind of like a, what's the word? Like an aesthetic.
Right.
I go to the same doctor every time. Her name is Dr. Sarah Case. She's amazing. And I've asked her loads of questions, because obviously you're sitting there getting numbed and you're just asking loads of questions. I asked her one day, what would she do if someone came in and was like, I want 5
Pump
mils
it full,
or pump me up, whatever. She said she'd get them to go away and have a think about it.
Yeah.
And if they came back and they still wanted that, she'd have to send them away. She
Right.
said she couldn't by rights do that to someone.
Because then that's going to be like her company, her brand will be on her face essentially, and that's not the kind of thing. So that's really interesting, because I mean, I follow you, so I know that you have lip fillers, but I don't know whether I'm just really bad at identifying it or whether I just don't know. But I wouldn't necessarily
No, they're not.
assume that you have lip fillers.
No.
So I mean, it's a really natural look that you like. And is it just because as well, whatever about, the scar, and you said your lips were thinner, but obviously like your lips are easier to put lipstick on when they're a little bit fuller. And is it fair to say that most makeup artists, bloggers that you see now online on YouTube have fillers in their lips? Like,
a lot of them do,
yeah. I mean, it's fair to say, I think. Like, I haven't seen a thin-lipped one in a
Those thin
while.
lips.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but it's a fashion trend as well. Like, it
definitely.
might go away in a few years. Maybe
Will be.
maybe the thin lips is what everybody's going to want.
Thin lips, were they ever
No.
trendy?
No.
It's not like
See,
the
I
eyebrow
had,
thing.
like, even when I smiled, like, my lip disappeared.
My
It
lip
used to make me
disappears
so
when I
conscious.
smile. Yeah, it makes me a bit self-conscious. Just the top one. I get it from my mom. Like, her lips disappear when she
Your lips
smiles.
don't disappear.
When I smile, the top one completely
doesn't.
disappears. It does. I'm trying to make it not now. Like, I'm really trying. Yeah, but it completely
yeah,
does.
and you do get, like, to be honest, I don't think it was a deciding factor for me. It was always something I wanted. Like, I'm very into that. Like, I'm not into natural
Yeah.
that much. Like, I like my freckles and stuff, but I just...
It's kind of nice that you're willing
love
to
a bit
admit
of
that.
stenos, love nails, love
Yeah.
a bit of tan.
Yeah.
Why not?
Why not?
Yeah, dead right.
Absolutely.
Because so many people will be like, I just love a natural look.
I'm
as
not
they
into-
like clay on this shit. And
Yeah.
it's like, no, you don't.
Yeah.
But at least you're like,
It's funny because I remember when I rang my mum and I was like, so mum, tomorrow I'm going to get lip fillers. And I literally was like, bah, just get it out. And I was like, I'm getting lip fillers tomorrow. And she was like, oh my God, don't do that, you'll ruin your face. And, oh my God. And she's
What a
like,
mom
you'll be
response.
a trout, like all this kind
Yeah.
of stuff. And like, my mum doesn't really care what we do as long as like we're safe.
Yeah.
But she's like, oh Jen, please don't do it. And then when I came home, she was like, they're actually grand.
Really?
You know, they're fine. She didn't mind them at all. And when I went back and got them done again, she was like, "Jeez." But then they were grand again. So
Yeah.
I think she knows now that I'm not like going to go mad.
too far. Yeah.
Go
Yeah.
too far.
Some people do.
Some people do, yeah. I mean, you see them and it does look a bit,
Mad.
Yeah.
They
it does
look,
look a bit mad.
yeah.
get the ledge here.
Yeah. I suppose people say as well, like, you know, sometimes people are going too far and then all the faces are kind of slightly starting to look exactly the same.
It's the jaw filler now. The jaw filler is the new thing.
Wait,
and
tell me about this. Where does that go?
Basically, you can get like a little bit of filler right here.
Okay.
And it lifts out your jaw, so it makes you look like you're like really sharp.
Oh, like out here. Oh, so
Kind of here, so it like pulls it out here, so you have a little bit of filler.
Like that.
It makes a little bit of a ledge.
Oh.
But the way I look at it is,
And then it's like the cheek fillers as well, so
you could have 70 mils of filler in your face.
yeah.
And then the next day decide, I don't want these anymore.
Yeah.
And you get them dissolved. Like it's all G.
Really?
So it's just not
love
permanent.
It's all G, lads.
No, because I was offered before, this was years ago, like a medical place said, did I want to get like a lip implant? And I was like, no way.
They
Like
put
a little
something-
slug.
It's like a little slug. It is literally like a little slug.
No,
It is literally like a
don't.
little slug.
I don't know about putting foreign thing. I
That's
know,
exactly
like
what I thought.
it's all like. I actually don't know anything about what it is that you put in, but putting a piece of something in.
Oh, you'd be so aware
Well,
of it.
this is hyaluronic acid. So lip fillers are made out of hyaluronic acid, which is something your body is making anyway.
Right, and it also breaks it down
Breaks it
anyway.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah. So within like a year and a half, if I didn't touch my lips for like a year and a half, they go down to complete normal.
Right.
But I would get them topped up every like 6 months or so.
Okay.
And when I go back, there's probably about a quarter to a half a mil left in my lips.
Right. So it's not like if you are kind of doing it and you want to do it as like a sustained kind of beauty treatment, you get what, like 6+ months out of it. So it's
Yeah.
pretty good value. It's not like crazy
And like
expensive.
I'd say cumulatively now, I probably have about 1.5 mil to 2 mils in my lips at the moment.
Yeah.
But like, if you're gauging it against someone like Kylie Jenner, probably had like 7 or 8.
Stop, she didn't.
You know what I mean? Like that
Jeez.
really,
Yeah, that was
really
crazy.
full look. And like they put like a little wire there so it like puckers.
Huh?
Yeah.
Like while they do it.
Yeah, I'm really inquisitive, so like as my 6 words said,
Yeah.
I want to know everything about everything.
Fair.
So like
That's a
I'm
nice way to
real
be.
like researching.
We're going to talk a little bit more about surgery after the break, specifically one person's surgery that kind of took over the entire internet. But first, it's January. A lot of people are taking part in Dry January. And another group of people are taking part in January. So Laura Jackson is a student from Exeter, and she came up with January, and women are basically being encouraged to not shave anymore in order to raise money for body positivity education program. So I caught up with her earlier in the week. I'm joined on the line now by Laura Jackson. Laura is a university student from Exeter in the UK, and she started a campaign that's known as January. So essentially women have stopped shaving for the month of January in order to raise funds for a body positive education program. So Laura, thank you so much for joining me on the line today.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Hi, I'm delighted to talk to you finally. I don't know, well, you don't know this, but I actually wrote a story about you probably over a year ago, and it was when you kind of started growing out your body hair initially, and I'm presuming that that was kind of the catalyst that started this whole January movement. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, I started growing out my body hair, and I did it for a show that I wrote and performed in. I chose to do it, and I had a reason to do it. But when I first did it, I felt really uncomfortable and self-conscious. I was apologizing to people when they saw it. And I just, after a little time, I realized, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this to myself? Why am I acting like this about my body in its natural way? And after a little bit of time, after it grew out a bit, I was like, I really loved it. And I really came into myself, and I became more confident, and I had such a better relationship with my body. And this is my personal experience with my body hair. But I think it was because I chose to do it, and making that choice of embracing something that I've been shaming my body for having for such a long time. It just suddenly made me feel so much more attuned with myself, and it's great. But yeah, that's sort of where I first started doing it, and I realized, there's so much more we need to do to be able to understand each other fully and truly. And I had friends and family who didn't understand it still, and were giving me quite negative responses and asking if I was being lazy or if I was trying to prove a point by having body hair. And why do we have to be doing either? Why can't we just have it? Why can't we just have a body way in body in its natural way of being. So yeah, and then over September time, I was having a conversation with some women at the Women of the World Festival in Exeter, and there we were talking about body hair politics, and we just sort of thought of, I just realised there's so much more we need to do to get it out there about how normal this is, and then that's sort of where I thought of January and making a big group of supportive women to have an incentive to work together and break some social norms.
I mean, definitely you are completely breaking social norms in terms of the fact that this has made global headlines, and there's been quite a strong reaction. And I think what kind of interested me the most is that obviously everybody knows about Movember, for example. If you see men walking around with crazy mustaches in the month of November, you know that they're, raising money for something. So this is essentially what you're doing with January as well. So you are raising money for an organization. But does it kind of bother you that the conversation is more about why women are doing this? And also there's been a huge reaction from men kind of on social media, and people like Piers Morgan as well has kind of commented on this. I'm actually going to quote him. So he actually said, "Surely even in these divisive times we can all unite on one thing. #January is lazy and revolting." Yeah. So, I mean, I'm actually a little bit upset that I even said that because I hate talking about him. But how did that make you? How did that make you feel? Because obviously you started this as something that was just purely about positivity.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't realize it was going to get this big at all. I thought maybe this is a project for some of my friends and some people who, like mutual friends, just to maybe get together and be a bit more aware of this. But it just got bigger and bigger, which is fantastic. And it's had such positive responses and such loving responses. And people have thanked me for giving them the space to be able to express themselves like this. And it's really, really good. But yeah, there also has been a lot of negative responses from men and women who just don't understand it. And it's okay. I think, well, we do need to change that, but I didn't understand it at one point. Probably this time last year, I didn't understand it. And I thought I looked at it as something that's abnormal. And I don't think I would have gone as far as commenting a lot of the stuff that people have. But this project is about helping people to understand, like, how normal this really is and how, we should be able to do whatever we want with our body hair and feel accepted for whatever choice we make with it. And yeah, Piers Morgan as well. I mean, I have heard a lot about that. I laughed at everything he said straight away. I didn't take offense to it. I think, yeah, at the end of the day, women aren't doing, we're not doing what we're doing for the sake of trying to please a man. And we don't live our lives to try and please men and what they find attractive. We are doing it for ourselves. And that's what's important. And yeah, I think at the end of the day, all of this negative feedback from people is just helping our campaigns. It's helping us understand why we're doing it and who we're doing it for, and just trying to get them to understand this.
I always find it really interesting when there's these select few celebrity pictures of famous women who have raised their arms at an award ceremony or something like that, like Julia Roberts and Madonna, and they have hair under their arms. And it's always these pictures that kind of get paraded out when anybody talks about women growing out their arm hair. And it's almost this reaction of shock, even though, do people think that we're bald from the eyebrows down? As in, this isn't a shocking thing. This is actually when you hit puberty, you start to grow hair on your body. That's what happens to men and women. And I suppose a part of this is kind of breaking down those shock beliefs that this is the only way that women are expected to be, because the advertisements for razors, for example, on TV, that is a woman shaving her leg and there's not a hair to be seen on that leg. So it's almost as if she's just shaving nothing. So, I mean, I suppose from your standpoint, January aside, is this now your new lifestyle? Have you adopted being hairy and accepting it and loving yourself for that reason and kind of ignoring what society says?
Completely. I think for me anyway, when I grew it out, I started to really love it, and I kept it for ages. I kept it for about 8 months. But then I shaved it at the beginning of January to join in with everybody in the growing process. And I really, really miss my body hair.
Really?
I've had it, like, I know it's slowly growing back, but I really miss it. Yeah, I feel odd not having it on me. It was a big part of me, and I think it was like, you know, excuse the pun, it was a good, big growing process for me having it there. And I think, like, shaving it off, it's just odd. It's like I was shaving a part of me away, which we are.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely, after January myself, I'm gonna keep growing it out, and I think I'm just gonna stay hairy because I love it, and I love my body hair. But anybody can, the people who are joining in with January, they don't have to stay hairy. This isn't a campaign that's saying all women should be hairy forever. It's saying that we should have the choice. So at the end of it, people said they might shave, they might wax, and you can do what you want, you know, but it's just about understanding that we have that choice, and it should be okay to choose whatever we want to do. But I think a lot of people will surprise themselves at the end of the month with their body hair and what they choose to do with it.
And are you going to continue January on? Is this going to be something that you want to see take over, like Movember, for example? Is this something that you want people to do every single year so that eventually it does become completely normal? Not saying that it's abnormal now, if you know what I mean, just that it's the first year of January, so a lot of people are talking about it. Yeah,
definitely. Like, we're in January now, and it's still getting so big, and it's great. But I think I'd love to do it every year and make it a big thing. Hopefully every year it'll get bigger and reach more people and create more conversations. And yeah, that would be really good. It would be great to do it every year, maybe change charities every year, and get more people involved, definitely.
So like you said, we are kind of bang smack in January now. So if people are kind of only hearing about it now, or if they haven't taken part, they can still donate though. You're raising money for a body positive education program, isn't that right? So can you tell us how people can maybe get in touch and maybe find out a little bit more about the campaign?
Yeah, definitely. Well, first of all, I'm actually I'm encouraging people to still sign up and join in.
Yes.
Yeah, we are in January, and there is in the middle of it, but we're still challenging ourselves and other people, no matter when we start or stop this growing process. So I'm still encouraging people to join in with challenging these stereotypes. But also, of course, we're raising money for Body Gossip. There is a crowdfunding page for raising money to support their education program, to go into schools and educate young minds between the ages of 13 to 18 about just reflecting on their views on their bodies and how they view themselves and other people, which is so brilliant to have in schools. And I wish I had that in my school. And it does ring very true to what January is about. It's just how you view yourself and how you view other people, and how, just to learn to love each other more. So you can donate to that on the crowdfunder, which is linked on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter for January. And there's also sign forms on there as well, on the Facebook one. And and share January posts. Support everybody involved. You don't have to sign up, but you can still be supportive, Yeah. I've got a lot of friends who are really, really joining in and really helping out, but they're not growing up their body hair, which is fine. Choose what you want to do, but make sure you're choosing it for yourself and for nobody else.
Absolutely. Well, it's hashtag January on every social media that you go onto. You'll be able to find out more if you do want to go and support it. Laura, I think it's fantastic what you're doing. I can't believe that you're only in college and you've started this kind of global campaign that every country in the world is talking about. So fair play, and hopefully next year we've all grown up a little bit and it'll be more like Movember and everybody will just be incredibly hairy. I look forward to it.
Yeah, me too. It sounds good.
Laura, thank you so much for coming on the show.
No, thank you for having me. Thank you.
It's a great thing, and you can go and follow Laura Jackson and hashtag January on all social media, and you'll find out more information about it. So I haven't done it this month, but I'm gonna maybe donate and kind of.
I haven't not done it now that I'm reflecting on it personally.
Yeah, take a look at those ankles there.
They're looking good.
They're looking good.
She shaved my ankles.
There's another story that I kind of want to talk about before I let you go, and that was something that really, I was fascinated by this story, and it kind of hit the beauty community and the wider community really hard. So basically, for anybody who doesn't know, there is a London-based drag performer, makeup artist, and he's also an illusionist kind of extraordinaire as well. His name is Elliot Rents, or Alexis Stone, as he's known online. And basically, back in August, he put up this video and he said, you know, I'm constantly being trolled, I'm constantly being called botched, I don't like the way I look, so I'm going to change it. So he announced to the world that he was going to have this massive facial surgery and reconstruction. And then there was a few little things that came over the next few months. A picture of him post-surgery with like tubes coming out of his face
Bruising
and like
and stuff.
bruising, like crazy stuff. And then he kind of did this reveal, and it was revealed that he introduced his new face, and it included fat grafts to his nose, which I didn't even think was a thing, his forehead and his chin, as well as chin and cheek implants and an eye lift as well. And he said this had nothing to do with vanity and everything to do with sanity. So, I mean, before, you know, we all knew what was happening, this was massive. And then the comments that started coming were awful. People said that he looked like a burn victim. People said this is why your ex-boyfriend killed himself. Like just horrific.
He lost 65,000 followers in a week.
Like insane amount of backlash. He posted up something then about, you know, I'm struggling to deal with the negativity, and he screenshotted a bunch of the really, really harsh comments. And then it was all a joke.
A hoax.
It was a hoax. Like it wasn't real. He didn't do it. He ripped off. It was all just prosthetics on his face, and he did it as this social experiment. And then he released this 35-minute documentary, which you can watch on YouTube, talking about the entire process behind it. It's so fascinating. And then everybody was kind of backlashing on the backlash, as in people were saying, well, hold on a second, is plastic surgery really performance art? Is that what's happening now? Like, why did you do this? Did you just do it to sell a face mask, which I actually think he released at the same time? Yeah, he's got like this face mask thing going on.
That actually wasn't. I actually read about that because I thought that was really weird as well. I was like, how did he tell that company? Were there like NDAs involved or what? That collaboration came while he had the face, the like Jocelyn Wilstein face.
Yeah.
That came then, and they said we want to do this reconstruction mask, and it's all based around that ratio. What's that perfect ratio called? I can't remember.
Couldn't tell you now.
But it's like the beauty ratio.
Right.
And
Okay.
it's you see it a lot. It's like that colour.
Yeah, it's just that perfect, and you see the
So that came during that. So then I think he told them then, look, this is the deal.
Joke.
Yeah.
This is the joke. It's a hoax.
It was incredible. Like the headline in paper was how I convinced the world I fucked up my face, you know, and it was genius, I thought. And I really, the first time I read about it, the first time I saw the reveal of the face and the mask, I was like, well, this guy is just a genius. And the more I learned about them, the more I realized, okay, he'd actually gotten a pretty hard time before about surgery that he had been through anyway, because he'd had like a nose job, and he does have fillers and he does have things in his face. His face does look surgically altered. Nothing compared to what he did. He actually modelled it on that woman. What's her name?
Wilstein.
Yeah, who's like the infamous cat lady who like spent 4 million on her face or something crazy like that.
He showed like the power of people's words.
Yeah.
Which were very much like, you think I'm botched, I'll show you botched. Obviously he wasn't. This was a whole plan that he had made, and he put his life savings essentially into it. But if he was mentally unstable, like, he could have gone and done something really drastic.
Yeah.
You know, and for all the people that were giving him hate and giving him abuse and things like that, no one took a step back to say, wait a minute, like, maybe there's something not right here.
Yeah.
Like, he seems to be really isolated. He seems to be on his own. And, like, that was kind of the broader picture. I suppose, like, I followed him for years on Instagram. Wasn't really on his YouTube that much at all now, but on Instagram I follow him because he does these
transformations.
He can paint any celebrity on his face.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's mad.
And he like frequently goes viral because of these kind of transformations that he does.
But my thing was, I had my doubts.
You didn't think it was real?
No, I thought it was real. I did believe that it was real. I did believe that it happened in some extent, and I kind of hoped that it wasn't real.
Really? Wow, because I had no idea. Like, I followed him as well.
Oh, you believe what you see.
The giveaway for me was,
Okay.
his career is built off these transformations. He wouldn't transform his face that much because he wouldn't be able to work. He wouldn't be able to transform himself. Because that's the thing, even though he does have fillers and a nose job and things like that as well, his face was actually quite, like, featureless, so to speak.
Yeah, it was pretty much a blank canvas. Yeah.
And then also there was 2 lines running down the side of his mouth, and I was like, that's so weird that, like, he obviously went to either a poor surgeon or else it's not real.
It looked very botched, as in those lines that came down here are very much like, I can't pronounce her name.
Jocelyn Wilstein.
Jocelyn Wilstein has it, and it's very much a botched facelift. So yeah, the 2 lines, when I looked at it after I knew what was going on, I was like, oh, I probably should have twigged that looked very fake.
But I questioned it.
I was going to ask, did people think...
I saw a lot of people. Now, I didn't comment because I felt like if he did make that decision, what help is it going to be me saying, oh my God, like, I hope you're okay, and why did you do this, Elliot? And that's not going to be no use to anybody. So I just kind of stepped back, obviously, like he wasn't waiting for my comment. But I kind of hoped that it wasn't real, that there was some kind of gag to it. And even myself and Mark Rogers, just before Christmas, we had lunch and we were speaking about it. And I was like, I kind of hope that like it's some elaborate hoax. And literally the minute I saw it, I was like, Mark, oh my God.
I knew
because he was obviously hurting quite a bit. If you watch the documentary as well, he's going through like his sobriety from alcohol and cocaine, and like he's going through a lot.
He started that at the time of this transformation, as in like the first part back in August when he kind of began documenting it. I think he was only like 8 or 9 days sober, so like he was on this journey anyway. Which I'd say was just filled with ups and downs as it is, and self-doubt, and oh my God, are people going to know, or what am I going to do? And then to be dealing with your sobriety at the same time.
But he said only 5 people knew.
That's crazy.
Only 5 people knew, and they all signed NDAs. And even on Christmas Day, like I read this article, because as inquisitive again, I just like to know everything. Like I find things really fascinating, especially about humans, the human condition. But even on Christmas Day, his mother knew, obviously, because he had to tell his mother. But his mother's partner and his mother's partner's daughter didn't know. So on Christmas Day, he had to wear like the stunt mask.
Oh God.
So he had a lot of prosthetics that would show different levels of healing. But he had these stunt masks as well that were much easier to put on. So he could put on a headscarf and put on the stunt mask.
And and so he could go out.
It would be the shape of it. It would be the general shape of it. But if someone got really up close to him, it wouldn't be as in detail. Because he said he couldn't risk that he would go out and someone would be like, oh, I saw him. And like he's after spending however much money.
It's just such a huge commitment to essentially what is a social experiment, you know? I mean,
big fat lie.
Well, it's a big fat lie, but it's all intentional, as in like he was obviously doing it for, and the thing is, like, it's really interesting in the article, the kind of final word on it is like, why did you do this? Like, what was the reasoning behind it? And he just said to show like the power of makeup, essentially, and the power of the way that you look and the way that people are then reacting to it. So I think he wanted to show the amount of reaction that his face can get, and negatively. I mean, essentially, it shows how quick people are to say,
to attack.
You're sick, you're awful, there's something wrong with you, why would you do this to yourself? And like you said, like, I know you were saying he's not waiting for my comment, but you sat back on it and you didn't say anything.
No.
But like, should anybody really be talking about other people in that kind of way? I have never sat in front of a computer and said and wrote something mean about somebody and posted it on a picture of them.
People do.
But people do it so often, and I just don't understand the psyche behind how they can do that.
No.
It's usually people with like internal issues with themselves, though.
Yeah. But you know what's something really small, kind of, this is related in a way. So when I first got that big kind of boost on Snapchat, and I was on Snapchat all the time and things like that as well. So I had Invisalign. I'm not finished Invisalign yet, but I have Invisalign, and at the time I hadn't gotten Invisalign. And this tooth right here was back. It was sitting back. So it looked like I had, from certain angles, it looked like I was missing a tooth.
Okay.
You would not believe the amount of people that would message me being like, how'd you lose your tooth? Are you missing a tooth? Or is it just weird? Are you missing a tooth? And it got to the point where I was literally like, I would cry when someone sent me a message. So I was so conscious of it. I wouldn't, like, I'd only smile from this side, and if I was on this side, I'd make sure I was really this way so they could see it. And
so yeah, I was going to ask, how does it how did that make you feel? Obviously not good.
Not good. It was something that I was conscious of my whole life.
Anyway.
I always felt like I was missing a tooth. Like, it like looked like I was missing, I had a big gap here.
Yeah.
But I just think, obviously not to the extent that Elliot was getting it, or Alexis, that he was getting this constant droves of abuse. But like for me, getting that tiny little thing and people just kept messaging me about it, I could only imagine. I couldn't even conceive how he felt of people telling him every day, "You're disgusting.
You're
go
worthless.
kill yourself.
Yeah.
You're worthless."
I just wouldn't be able to do
God.
it. And people are now saying, I was looking on Twitter at some of the reactions to it now, and people are just saying like, oh, you know, they're still giving him hate. They're just like, January 1st, I need a little bit of attention. Oh, I'm going to do this and all this kind of stuff. I just don't know how you could put up with that personally. No. I just know that I wouldn't be able to do it. But I mean, aside from the tooth thing, like how do you deal when people are commenting on, because obviously your face is there, like this is what you are essentially selling, you know, like obviously you're talking about brands and you're talking about makeup, but it's you that's kind of front and center. So how do you deal with that, and do you get much hate, or is Ireland, I like to think that we're not heinous.
Spiteful.
No, I don't really get hate. There was one time I got a shout out from someone, and followers from that person came over, and they were the nastiest people.
Really?
And I knew, because there was a direct correlation between, wait, I wasn't getting this abuse last week.
All of a sudden now.
All of a sudden, why
so
am I
you can
getting it now?
see that. Oh,
Yeah, you can kind of feel it.
yeah.
And like, obviously, like, she who shall not be named, Bloggers Unveiled. I was Bloggers Unveiled for about a week.
Stop.
At one point.
Were ya?
And it was a nightmare.
Oh my God.
I had to get my boss to send an email to a publication to be like, leave her alone. Please leave her alone.
Way.
But it was honestly the closest thing I've ever felt, because like obviously, you know, you look at someone like, even the other night, Faces by Grace Mongie, who's a friend of mine, and she did a great video the other day on Instagram. These videos, they 60 seconds, they look like they're easy. The amount of work that goes into them.
No, yeah.
Filming, editing, lighting, everything, the concept, actually doing it, you know, it takes so long. And someone commented from like a faceless account and was like,
Classic.
like, why do you look like this, and you're so lazy, this, that and the other. And it was so vile, like it was so violent. And like, this person is hiding behind a faceless troll account, which is what's happening now a lot in the Irish industry, because I think in America and the UK people don't really care.
Yeah.
They can kind of, they'll say what they want and they just think, I'm just being honest. Whereas in Ireland,
Cowards.
like, you know people.
Absolutely. It's a small
Facebook,
industry.
people you may know. Like, like any time you add someone on Facebook or anything like that, oh my God, you know this person, you know this person.
Yeah.
It's a small, small country. And even the top level celebrities and celebrity bloggers probably are maybe 2 degrees separation.
Yeah.
Know someone who knows someone who knows someone who knows someone.
Absolutely. So people are hiding behind.
People are hiding behind.
Yeah.
So you don't even know who it is sometimes. And like, people can be really nasty, and they'll find something that they know you're conscious of, and they'll dig at it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I discovered yesterday?
What, Rebecca?
Someone wrote a full article about how terrible I was at journalism. A neo-Nazi website did basically critiqued one of my articles, included photos of me. It's bonkers. Someone tweeted me being like, you got mentioned in this on the Daily Stormer, which is like a neo-Nazi propaganda website.
Oh my God, I think I saw that.
You were in that tweet as well,
I was
yeah.
in the tweet.
So I finally went in and I was like,
I clicked
what's
in,
the
saw
sauce?
it wasn't about me, and then I was like, but I didn't see it was about
It was
you.
basically a full article written about how I'm terrible.
Wow.
It was amazing.
I didn't read
to
it, Rebecca, because I thought
it was
it's so
amazing to
good,
read.
though.
I was like, thank you for the click. Thank you for clicking into my article. Enjoy your read.
I thought that
But
it
it was
was
a-
like just one of
no.
those dead links of
No,
spam
it was
or
a
something
full
like that.
article, like included like a picture of me, my byline, my name, all this like personal stuff about me, and then basically was like a full critique of my article that I did. It was so weird.
Yeah, no, I mean, you know, we've spoken, for some reason, we seem to always kind of come back to trolls on this show, and it's just something because I'm interviewing women a lot of the times who are kind of in the public eye and who are doing incredible things within their own industry. And, you know, we talk about the struggles that they have as well, and we talk about the things that they face on a day-to-day basis, and just time and time again it's coming up against these people who are just intent on tearing other people down, and it's kind of a very sorry state of affairs. I've just never been able to get my head around how you can comment on somebody that you don't know.
Yeah.
And literally, it's not like you're printing it essentially.
Yeah.
Like it's not like you're
not gonna go
saying
away.
it to your friend in a coffee shop. Like things on the internet are there forever, you know? It's scary.
And then if you clap back at all, they're like, oh my God, why are you so defensive?
Yeah.
It's so weird. But you know what I always kind of, the way I always think about it is, and like I've said it before when I have spoken about troll accounts and things like that as well, because I do have quite an open dialogue with my followers, which I think is great, because my followers, a lot of them are the same age as me, so it's kind of, we've similar experiences, is that if you look at someone's Instagram, so just say you follow someone religiously on Instagram, you're probably seeing 15 to 20 minutes of their day.
Yeah.
And you think you know them.
I know, yeah.
You have no idea.
That's what I think is very
what
funny.
that person is going through. Maybe they've had a terrible day, maybe something going on with their family, maybe there's something that's going on in their personal life.
Yeah.
I'm not going to hop on Instagram and be like, I'm so upset over this, that and the other. Like, I don't think it's constructive for anyone, and people just don't know. So these troll accounts could hit you on like a really bad day.
Yeah.
Like a terrible day, and they don't care.
No.
They literally don't care. And you look like the bad person if you message back.
Absolutely.
If you call them out, you look like you're too sensitive. That the one that gets me so bad, this one really makes me mad. You put yourself out there, you should be able to take it.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
No one should have to take
Would you come up to me
emotional
in
abuse
a pub and
like
say that to me to my face?
No.
No.
They wouldn't. No.
I dare
Absolutely
ya.
not.
I dare you to.
But the thing is, I always, like, anytime I've gotten bad messages, which I will say are few and far between, I've been very, very lucky.
Yeah.
Anytime I have gotten messages, I was like, would you actually come up to me in person and say that to me? Like, and spit the vitriol that you're saying.
Yeah.
Would you say that?
It's
They're like,
insane.
no. Like, well, I just think what you did. And I'm like, well, why do you think that's bad? Or why do you think this is bad? Or,
Half the time, I don't think they're expecting a response
No.
at all, and half the time it's almost as just they just want to do it for maybe their own attention or whatever. But a really good point to think about the fact that you're only seeing a snapshot of these people's day. You know, like you're not seeing everything that they're going through in the day. So think twice before you comment. Just don't do it at all. What is wrong with you?
Be sound.
What is wrong with you? I don't understand.
Be sound.
Yeah.
It's not
Just be
hard.
sound.
It's going to be one of those things that we look back on like Trump, and it's just going to be like, do you remember when everyone was fucking dickheads to everybody on the internet and everybody was trolls and nobody really knew what was going on? I hope that this is just a moment that we're dealing with, and eventually it will go away and everyone will just talk about it like a really bad moment in history.
Yeah,
Like
hopefully.
Trump, yeah. So Jen, tell us before I let you go, what's coming up for you in the future? Tell us about, do you have any big plans? Do you have any big collaborations coming up? Can you give us anything?
I can't give anything.
Oh,
really.
go on.
I'm just going to be working really, really hard. I feel like 2019 is going to be my year.
Yes, honey.
Nice. I love
I'm
that.
really I'm very focused, and I just want to hone my craft and learn as much as I can and just be the best me that I can be.
And
in
keep doing
2019.
your looks on Instagram and stuff like that. When you're doing your Instagram as opposed to like YouTube, do you film it all and then just edit it in a different way for Instagram, or are you just predominantly filming it for Instagram now?
I'm predominantly filming for Instagram because
Okay.
that's my main platform.
Yeah.
But it's so funny because that girl I was speaking about earlier on, Twee, that UK blogger, she has, like, she's really good. She shares everything.
Yeah.
Like everything. Like lighting, setup, filming, editing. Every single thing that she does on Instagram. She's 1 million followers. She's like, I don't care if you know something. It doesn't make me get less.
I think you should share some of that, because I'm really interested in that aspect of it. Like, I love, like, a lot of people I don't think understand the work that goes into, like you said earlier, those 1 minute videos. And I think a lot of people would be really, like, I asked you off camera, like, do you have a ring light and stuff like that?
Yeah.
I'm
What
just
goes into it, like?
Well, I'm just a bit of a nerd anyway. Like, I want to know about the lighting and the setup and the camera that you're using and the editing and stuff like that. I know not everybody would be interested in that, but I think a lot of followers of beauty bloggers like yourself would be shocked to know how much work goes into it, and they think like, oh, they just get to go to all these amazing events and they get free stuff all the time. It's like, well, actually there's a lot of work behind it.
Well, also, like, something that I actually, like, it was like my Kendall Jenner big announcement was, like, I only bought myself a Mac. I bought myself a Mac like 4 weeks ago.
Okay.
My first
Well,
ever
they're
Mac, and I
expensive
was
as
like,
well.
oh yeah, when I paid for it, I actually wanted to
start
get
sweating.
sick. And the guy's really nice. He was like, I'll give you a free case, and I was like, okay.
That makes up for the $3,000 you just took off. Right?
But I had been editing on my phone
Really?
the whole time. Yeah. And it was really hard.
That's so impressive.
It was really, really hard because it's very like small and the screen is tiny and you
So
can
you were
only cut so
filming
much.
on your phone?
I was filming on a camera, editing on my phone.
Wow.
Because you have iMovie on the phone as well.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I use Final Cut Pro now. Moved to the big leagues, thank
Nice,
God.
yeah.
But yeah, I'm a real grafter.
Yeah.
Like, if I want to do something, I'm going to teach myself how to do it and I'm going to learn how to do it. And am I going to be great at it first? No. But, like, I will become really good at it.
Yeah.
Always. Because I just
I
work
love
really hard.
Self-belief is key.
It's just I work really hard. If I want to do something or if I want to achieve something, I'm, like, obsessed with it. Not in a bad way, but
It's like
I just...
the winged eyeliner.
The winged eyeliner.
Just
Sat
commitment.
down.
Yeah.
I'm really determined.
Yeah.
So I wanted to learn how to edit and I saw someone say you could edit on an iPhone, so I learned how to edit an iPhone and I did that. Like, I built 27,000 followers on Instagram on an iPhone.
That's really
So
impressive.
God only knows what's going to come now, because now I have my equipment. Like, I am more productive. Definitely way more productive with the laptop, because even tomorrow I'm going home to Tipperary and I can edit on the bus the whole way down.
Nice.
You know, so it's a dream. I'm
Yeah.
delighted. But I think, like, that's one thing people always ask me is kind of, how do you start out?
Yeah.
And people think they need this big equipment and lighting and all this kind of stuff. I started out with a lamp that I had leaned against a radiator so it was sideways and shining at me.
Okay.
Yellow light. One of those lazy arms from Pennies. And my phone attached to the end of it.
Nice.
That's how I started. And, like, if you want to do it, you'll do it.
That's brilliant.
That's
I feel
awesome.
inspired.
So
Maybe
do I.
I should be a beauty
Should
blogger.
we do that? Should
I
we
think I should, yeah. To hell with this crap.
She quits.
Well, listen, it was incredible to have you in. It was great to finally meet you as well. I've been following you for a while. I can't wait to see what's coming next for you as well, now that you have your Mac. Jesus Christ, like.
Anything goes.
Absolutely anything goes. So thank you so much to Jen and Becca, of course. Thank you so much for joining us as well. Thank you to Laura Jackson, who joined us on the phone as well. And thank you to everybody who's helping behind the scenes. I'm Niamh Maher, and we will chat to you next week.